Hello and welcome to Code for Life. Today, let's look at the way in which we can use online services for doing the text-to-speech conversion. Now, this particular code is the one which we had written earlier, and the only change here is going to be in this particular method. So this is the only line of code that I have changed here. Now, to implement the online TTS, that is the online text-to-speech service, to demonstrate it, I'll be using a service which is provided by VoiceRSS, and it's pretty simple to use. So let's go ahead and look at the way in which we can implement the methodology for using an online TTS. So to do that, let's go to their website and check out what they have to offer. So here, if you go to their website, you will see that they provide 350 requests per day free of cost, and 350 requests are actually pretty good enough for almost anyone. And if you need more than this, then you'll have to maybe buy their other services, but 350 is good enough for all normal purposes. So the way in which we use this service is, first of all, let's go to their documentation and try to find out. So here they have two ways in which you can access their service: the HTTP GET and the HTTP POST. So let's find out what the website W3 Schools. Let's find out what are these methods. So the GET method actually modifies the URL. URL is the one which you see here, something like this. So it modifies the URL, the existing URL, by adding these extra parameters. So it starts with a question mark followed by a list of parameters that you need to send to the website, and once you do this, the website will respond to your request with whatever data it has to offer based on the parameters that you have sent to it. So that is the GET method. So for example, in our case, we will be sending it this question mark followed by the parameters, and the parameters in our case are going to be a key which you need to generate. I'll tell you about it in a little while, and followed by the language that you want to get your output in, followed by the text that you want this particular service to convert to the speech. So that's the GET method. The second method is the POST method, which you can also use with this service, that is VoiceRSS. Now in this service, you don't modify the URL. Instead, what you do is you get a output stream output stream to communicate with the URL, that is the web server, and then you send the data in such a way that you can also encrypt the data and send it to the website. Unlike the GET method, you don't change the URL, and therefore it won't appear in the address bar. That has got an advantage that in case you are sending some sensitive information like a password, then it won't be visible to anyone. In case of the POST method, you will not be seeing any change in the URL, and therefore the switches or the routers which are on the path between you and the server, they will not be able to analyze or see the data that you are sending to the server, and therefore it's a much more secure method. Also here you can see that they have mentioned should never be used for dealing with sensitive data, whereas on the other hand, POST method is a much better method to deal with sensitive data. So let us continue with this text-to-speech engine. So here we send the key, then the source, and then followed by the language. The other things are not mandatory. And here you can see all the options for languages and the options for the audio codecs and the audio formats that you can send to it. In addition, if there is some failure, then this particular website will also let you know what went wrong by sending you a error message in written instead of sending an audio file. Okay, so let's get back to our code and see the implementation part of this particular TTS. So here I have done some changes to our previous code, and all the changes are pertaining to this. So first thing what I have done is I have created an interface and I have called it text to speech. So this particular interface are actually these methods which are empty as of now. These are abstract methods. So there are three requirements of any class that implements this particular interface. It should return an engine name, it should get the media, it should return a media which converts the text which is passed to it into some media format like MP3 or WAV file or something like that, which can be then controlled by our graphical user interface. And the third thing is it should be able to return the error details. In case there is any error, then the text-to-speech engine will only know about the details of the error, and therefore it should return the error details in case there is an error. So these are the three things that a class which is implementing this particular text-to-speech engine interface should implement. Okay, let's look at the online VoiceRSS Hot. It's pretty simple actually. What it does is it sets up a key first. This key is, so regarding the API key, you need to generate it from the VoiceRSS webpage, and the way you do it is you go to their particular website, click on get API key. If you have registered, then you can input your email and password and you can log in. If you have not done that yet, then you can click on the registration hyperlink, input all your details here and register. Once you register, then you can get the API key, enter your credentials and log in, and it will show you your API key. It sets up a key first. This key is stored on your computer. The first time you run this code, it will ask you for entering the key, and once you enter the key, it will store that key onto your computer. So it will create the preferences and it will save it onto your computer. And once that is done, then you are good to go. Then the next time you don't have to enter the key again. Then it will send the data that you have selected, that is the text that you have selected, and it will send the HTTP request. Here it is sending a GET request, and that's it. And it will get the output, and it will copy the output to a file, and then it will send the media back. In case of an error, it will send the error details, which will be returned by the web server in case there is an error. So it will catch hold of that error. So there must be somewhere here, yeah. So if there is an error, it takes the error message from the web server and it puts it into the error details through the exception handling part. You can go through this code and you can go to the details. It's actually pretty straightforward the way it does it. And finally you are done. The last part of this is the HTTP request. These are some small classes which I have written, which handles the HTTP request using GET and HTTP request using the POST method. You can go through this, and you can also use these for other methods. These are implemented in not very general sense, but you can reuse this code in your other projects as well. Okay, that being said, I think I'll stop this video now, and you can see, like for example, let me select this now and I'll press the shortcut key, and what you'll see is that this thing comes out. Now it will
HTTP request using GET.
Oh, that was what the output was of the TTS program that we have written, and it has actually come through a web call. Okay, so let me open up a Wikipedia page and look at what the output is from Wikipedia. So let me open something from Wikipedia's main page. Let me read this out and let us hear what the TTS speaks out, and here I go. Okay, it's taking some
Super
time.
Meat Boy is an independent video game designed by Edmund M. Sino, pictured, and Tommy Rafiz and developed by Team Meat. The successor to the 2008 Flash game Meat Boy, Super Meat Boy was released on the Xbox 360 through Xbox.
Okay, that's what the text-to-speech engine has to say. And this particular voice sounds better than the previous one that we had, which was using the local TTS. Now you can expand upon this particular code by changing to a local TTS whenever an online connection is not available, but I have not implemented that part of the code, but it would be good to have such a code. Okay, with that being said, I'll stop the video here, and thank you for watching. Have a great time and keep coding your way out of problems, and bye bye.